In the Red File tonight, it's a tale of two foxes. Under the late Roger Ailes' direction, Fox News jumped on the Trump train early, and the rest is history. As I'm sure you know, their top talent in prime time is all in for the president, defending him against the impeachment inquiry.
Democrats are doing the equivalent day after day of yelling fire in a crowded theater. And that theater is America.
This important news and information will prove that the media mob has been and continues to be covering for Joe Biden and his son.
This is a rush to judgment by left-wing Democrats who are engaged in literally a coup d'etat. Their goal is to drive the President of the United States out of office because they hate him. Now, I don't think partisan hatred comes under high crimes and misdemeanors.
I remember that guy. But there's another Fox, voices that are expressing not only skepticism, but indignation. People like Chris Wallace, Shep Smith, Andrew Napolitano. And just this week, an op-ed from Fox host Tucker Carlson in the Daily Caller made this stunning admission. It says Donald Trump should not have been on the phone with a foreign head of state encouraging another country to investigate his political opponent, Joe Biden. Some Republicans are trying, but there's no good way to spin this as a good idea. Trump, for his part, hasn't been shy in calling Fox out when it strays from his preferred messages. A month ago, he tweeted, "Fox isn't working for us anymore," threatened to start looking for a new news outlet. So are there cracks in Trump's Fox firewall? Here to discuss, Republican strategist Doug Heye and former senior advisor to Hillary Clinton's 2016 campaign, Zach Pitcanis. Doug, Tucker's op-ed, you know Tucker, I know Tucker, was startling because it criticized the president. Now, he went on to say that he didn't think any of this was impeachable, which is a legitimate opinion to have. But what did you make of that move by Tucker?
I was surprised by it, but also take what you can get. You know, one of the things that I've started to hear from Democrats is that when a Republican speaks out against Trump but doesn't speak out enough, some of them criticize him, but some Democrats are like, well, wait a second. You know, if we want to get to that place, don't criticize somebody for making one step at a time because they didn't make 10 steps. So I was surprised by this. I think Tucker's right, ultimately, that this is not what a president should be talking about.
A quiet spot marks the resting place of John Dillinger, the infamous bank robber who caused a stir during the Great Depression.
He's the most famous bank robber of all time.
He died during a police shootout 85 years ago. Decades later, his grave at Crown Hill Cemetery still draws visitors from all over the country.
Every time we go on a road trip, we go visit one of the famous gangsters.
Matt Bain is passing through from Minnesota. He was surprised to hear Dillinger's family wants to exhume his body.
What other crimes do they link him to? Maybe more robberies.
The State Department of Health approved this permit, submitted by Dillinger's nephew. We reached out to the family, and they would not talk about this request. But a spokesperson for the History Channel says the permit is actually connected to a documentary they're working on.
I think any information that we can uncover and verify is great to put out in the public record.
Susan Sutton is a historian with the Indiana Historical Society. Over the years, she says theories have circulated that the body buried here is not Dillinger's.
And of course, if the family who survives gives their okay to something like this, it could put to rest some conspiracy theories.
A book by the Indiana Historical Society and Crown Hill Cemetery suggests exhuming Dillinger's body could be a challenging project. It says Dillinger's father arranged for the casket to be buried with scrap iron and topped with 4 reinforced concrete slabs in fear of grave robbery. So who knows what the History Channel will dig up.
It's strange after all these years.
Today, I'm announcing the House of Representatives moving forward with an official impeachment inquiry. The president must be held accountable. No one is above the law.
Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi saying that everything was completely changed after President Trump came out and admitted that he did indeed in some form speak with and potentially pressure the Ukrainian president to investigate Joe Biden.
This isn't relitigating the past. This isn't relitigating the election with Hillary Clinton. This is about the president abusing his office in seeking political dirt about an election that's upcoming.
I think you have more people on the side of saying politics be damned here for a moment. There may be a real moral call that there's a constitutional responsibility here to hold the president accountable.
That call was perfect. It couldn't have been nicer. What Joe Biden did for his son, that's something they should be looking at.
This is a 5-page transcript. It appears to be a nearly complete transcript of the July call where President Trump asked Ukrainian President Zelensky several times to collaborate with Attorney General Barr and his attorney, Rudy Giuliani, to look into Biden and his son Hunter. Now, he doesn't specifically mention military aid, but says the U.S. has been, quote, very, very good to Ukraine. So not an explicit quid pro quo, but the president was clearly teeing up his requests to Ukraine.
Impeachment for that?
From my point of view, to impeach any president over a phone call like this would be insane.
The American people are going to view this and roll their eyes because it's going to sound to them like much of the same thing they've been hearing for the last 3 years.
So what's the process? How does impeachment work? Well, the investigation is going to go forward, and if the people in charge of the House of Representatives, the Democrats, think that there is enough to go forward with impeachment, the House Judiciary Committee will consider what's called articles of impeachment, which are specific charges. And if they vote articles of impeachment, then the full House of Representatives will vote on whether Donald Trump will be impeached. Now, if there is a majority in support of impeachment, Donald Trump doesn't lose his office. That's like a formal charge. It's like an indictment. So if Donald Trump is indicted the way Bill Clinton was impeached, then the case will go to the United States Senate. It takes 2/3, 67 votes in the Senate, to remove a president from office. I think everyone believes it's very unlikely in a Republican-controlled Senate.
Impeaching Trump could epically backfire on Democrats heading into the 2020 election cycle. They've got plenty of races to focus on winning instead of trying to undo a race that they, sorry Democrats, already lost. It would, simply put, turn Trump into a victim, a place he loves to be. Impeaching Trump in the House without a real chance of the Senate following suit hands the president the ability to say that Democrats hate him so much that they are unfairly targeting him and ignoring their responsibilities to the country.